guys, how's it going? I'm doing pretty good over here. My name is Samantha and welcome back to Spooky Story Saturday. I tell creepy stories and I do my makeup. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and let's get started. Warning, today we are talking about the paranormal, death, and mention of suicide. Waverly Hills Sanatorium is located in Jefferson County in Kentucky. Before it was a sanatorium, it actually was a plot of land that was originally owned by Thomas Hayes, and he had his house there, and he also built a school on the property because there was no school for his children. The teacher at his first school was named Lizzie Lee, and she was the one who actually named the school Waverly Hills. So apparently later on, the Tuberculosis Hospital Board bought the school and the land and built a 2-story tuberculosis hospital. I had mentioned tuberculosis in my video on the Stanley Hotel, and going forward, I'm also going to just refer to it as TB. The hospital opened in 1910. In 1912, the hospital opened a wing that was specifically for advanced cases of TB. And in 1914, they opened the Children's Pavilion. The hospital itself was actually doubled in size in 1926. Waverly Hills was a self-sustaining community, essentially. Basically, whether you were a patient, a doctor, or a nurse, once you went to Waverly Hills, you didn't really leave. They had everything that they needed to stay away from the public. They had a post office, a water treatment center, and they grew their own food. Just like I said in the Stanley video, at the time, it was thought that sunshine and fresh air could cure TB, which it did help, but many people didn't survive the disease. Waverly Hills closed in 1961 after the TB vaccine was created and the hospital was no longer necessary. The number of those who died in the hospital while it was open, the numbers vary greatly depending on which story it is, but the majority of stories say it's in the tens of thousands. Hauntings. One of the places in the hospital that is known to have a lot of paranormal activity is called the body chute. The chute was originally used to bring supplies into the hospital, but when the number of people that were dying became overwhelming, the hospital used the chute to take the dead out. There's also talk that it was used to take the dead out so that the other patients couldn't see them as they were leaving. And this chute is said to be about 500 feet long. There are a few accounts of children's laughter in the hallways. There have also been accounts of faces showing up in photographs where no one was there, and faces can also supposedly be seen in windows where there is no one there. Another paranormal occurrence is shadow people. Shadow people can be seen throughout Waverly Hills, with one occurrence happening on the 4th floor. So a shadow person is essentially exactly what it sounds like. It's a shadow that's full-figured like a human and moves sort of independently on its own. They can also show up in photographs, which supposedly has happened. In the morgue at Waverly Hills, most of the equipment is gone, but the body trays remain. Noises can be heard even though there is no one there, and the temperature has also been known to drop. On the 3rd floor of the building is supposedly a homeless man and his dog. Yep, folks, just like last time's case, we have another good boy ghost. So the story is that the man and his dog lived on the 3rd floor of the hospital after it closed. And unfortunately, the two either fell or were pushed to their death, depending on which story you hear. They can sometimes be seen wandering the halls, sometimes together and sometimes separate. So Timmy is a young boy thought to be about age 6 or 7, and Timmy likes to play ball. If you go into a room and you see nothing, and then you come back to said same room and a ball is on the floor, chances are it could be Timmy. Or if you possibly see a random ball roll towards you, it could also be Timmy. And sometimes people who go for tours there will leave a ball for him. And in my opinion, that's so nice. In room 502 of the hospital is where the story of Mary Hillenberg takes place. So Mary was a nurse at the hospital, and she became pregnant by a doctor who I guess didn't want anything to do with her or the baby. Mary then hung herself in room 502. Her ghost can be seen wandering around the 5th floor. Although she is not the only one. There is a second story on the 5th floor of another nurse who either jumped or was pushed off the ledge. And this nurse's spirit can also be seen throughout the 5th floor. After Waverly Hills closed as a sanitarium, it was actually reopened as a nursing home, which then later closed due to neglect. I'm guessing of the building. It has since reopened as a tourist attraction, and many different paranormal shows have actually filmed there. So what do you think? Do you think Waverly Hills is haunted? I think it certainly could be. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next week. Okay, bye!